sa ating Diyos, sa Panginoong Jesus. Hallelujah.
isang Diyos.
Isa nga sa challenge ay kung paano natin magigain yung respect ng ating mga pinaglilingkuran. At pag-usapan natin, I think the best way is actually to live a life of integrity. At yun nga po yung ating pag-usapan, living a life of integrity. Hindi ko na binago ang title nito. This is a talk that I've given nung ako po ay nagsalita sa COA Christian Fellowship. Living a life of integrity. Alam naman natin na challenging kapag ikaw ay nasa gobyerno sapagkat nandun ang either yung challenge na ikaw ay petics lang o ikaw naman ay maging corrupt. So nandun lagi yung temptation. Now, I've seen this comparison between reputation and character. Alam po ninyo, God is more concerned with our character than our reputation. And we really have to take care not only of our reputation, but our character as well. At ang sabi nga po rito, what's the difference between character and reputation? Reputation is what you are supposed to be. Basically, this is what people expect from you. But character is what you are. Who you really are. Ano ang iyong talagang pagkatao. Reputation is what you have when you come to a new community. Di ba meron ng sinasabi, your reputation precedes you. Subalit, character is what you have when you go away. Kapag umalis ka na, doon na makikita kung ano ang impact that you have left doon sa community na iyong pinasok. Di ba sabi nga nila, you can impress people from afar, but you can only impact them up close and personal. Also, reputation is made in a moment. No, kapag halimbawa, alam niyo yung mga vloggers. By the way, nakakatakot ito kasi kami, nung nasa media kami, may kasabihan kami, you are as good as your last episode. You are as good as your last work. So, your reputation can be made in a moment, but your reputation can be unmade also in a moment. But character is something that you build in a lifetime. And reputation grows like mushroom. Alam niyo, kapag umulan, kumulog, di po ba, mag-ikot-ikot ka lang, sabi nga na matatanda, may makikita ka ng mga kabute. Madali lang magsulputan ng kabute. Subalit ang character is like an oak tree. At it takes time to grow an oak tree. Your reputation is learned in an hour. Kung halimbawa, like example, you're a speaker and you're introduced, that's your reputation. But sadly, there are times na you may be vilified, people may attack you, and the truth will come out not immediately. Sabi nga, your character does not come to light for a year. At mamaya pag-usapan natin, mababanggitin natin, how do you respond to attacks on your character, on who you are as a person? And sabi nga, a single newspaper report gives you reputation, but a life of toil gives you your character. Kaya nga, ingat din tayo sa mga nababasa natin patungkol sa isang tao. Maganda na kilalanin natin silang mabuti before we make our judgment. Reputation can make you rich or can make you poor. Kaya nga ngayon, yung uso yung mga vlogger, di ba? They will do anything and everything just to get a lot of views because kumikita nga sila doon. Ngayon, kung sakali na ikaw naman ay ma-cancel culture, madali ka ng cancel culture, then yung binild na reputation pwedeng mawala at like for example, yung mga athletes na nag-fall out of grace, kumbaga, nawalan sila ng mga endorsements. Katulad ni Will Smith naman, nung sinampal niya si Chris Rock, ay nawalan siya ng mga projects. But character has nothing to do with your material possession or your status in life, but character has to do with your attitude in life. Character makes you happy or makes you miserable. And reputation is what men say about you on your tombstone. Na po, ako, wala pa akong nakita na eulogy sa dinami-dami ng mga funeral service that I've conducted. It is as if it is an unwritten code na we will not speak ill of the one who died. Kaya puro magaganda yung maririnig natin. Di ba nga, meron pong isang babae na sa funeral service ng kanyang asawa, habang may nagde-deliver ng eulogy, tumayo, tapos sinilip yung kabaong. And people were wondering, ba't ganun? Nung umupo na siya, natapos na yung service, tinanong siya, bakit ka tumayo in the midst of that eulogy? At ang sabi niya, hindi ako makapaniwala na yun ang asawa ko. Sinilip ko nga yung kabaong kung siya pa nga yung nasa kabaong. Kasi tayo sa kultura natin, lalo na tayong mga Pilipino, we don't want to speak ill of the dead. Reputation is what men say about you on your tombstone, but character is what angels say about you before the throne of God. And when we say angel, even fallen angels. Remember na si Satan has disputed the character of Job in front of God. So, kumbaga, pinag-uusapan tayo. At hindi ho yun marites at hindi tolits yun. Alam niyo naman yung tolits, no? Marites, alam niyo na, mari, anong latest? Tolits, tol, anong latest? Di po ba? Pero ito talaga, ito yung totoo kasi they really know us inside and out. Your reputation is what men think you are. Mapalad ang tao na kung ano yung tingin ng mga tao sa kanya, ganun ang tingin ng Diyos sa kanya. Pero most of the times, your character is different from your reputation. Your character is what God knows you to be. So, paano na di-develop ang character? It has to do with integrity. Integrity. At we will look into the life of a person, obvious naman kung sino dito sa wallpaper, sa background ng aking PowerPoint. Pag-uusapan natin si Daniel. At ito yung time na Daniel was promoted among all the governors. At ang sabi po rito, sa Daniel chapter 6 verses 1 to 2, it pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 satraps to be throughout the whole kingdom, and over them 3 high officials, of whom Daniel was one, to whom the satraps should give account, so that the king might suffer no loss. So these satraps will be reporting to these high officials, and these high officials will be reporting to Daniel. Now, the name Daniel is a very interesting name because it means God is my judge. God is my judge. And this is a very scary name. Minsan may maririnig kang mga tao na magsasabi na only God can judge me. Minsan gusto mong sabihin, naiintindihan mo ba yung sinasabi mo? Aren't you afraid that God will be your judge? Di po ba? At dito makikita natin na hindi takot itong si Daniel to be judged by God. Kasi makikita natin that he has lived a life of integrity. Although we will see that he has lived a life of integrity, has served with integrity as a government official, pero wala itong pinagkaiba sa ating mga nasa ministeryo. Because you have to remember na full-time work is also ministry. Your secular work is also your full-time ministry. So what applies to government officials, that's why nung hinilingan ako ng COA to talk about this, ito talaga si Daniel ang napili ko. But it also applies to us. Lalo na tayo na ang ating, if I may say, puhunan sa ministeryo ay ang ating pagkatao. Once na masira ng ating pagkatao, you may be able to regain it. Notice I use the word may. Depende kasi yan on how you will work hard to regain your integrity. Pero it will be an uphill climb. Kaya mahalaga na ating pong iniingatan ang ating pong integridad. Ano po bang integridad? Ito yung kung ano ka privately, ganun ka publicly. Kung ano ka, kung nag-iisa ka, ganun ka sa harap ng ibang tao. Walang duplicity, walang pagkakaiba. Pag sinabi nating integrity, lalo na as it applies, halimbawa sa mga estudyante, it is more than giving a good report about your reading report, na talagang binasa mo yung mga sinabi mong binasa mo. It is not just about plagiarizing a paper. Integrity also has to do with, katulad yan, na kayo po'y online, napakadali na mag-pretend na you're really doing your best in your studies, pero in reality, hindi naman. Kasama rin ang integrity doon. Kasama rin. Or kapag ikaw nagtatrabaho, for example, sa ministry, ang ating integrity calls na sulit yung ipinasweldo sa atin sa araw na ito. Kumbaga, yung output mo ay talagang tumatapat o humihigit pa sa natanggap mo sa araw na yon. Yun ang sakop ng integrity. Sa magulang, ang integrity ay kapag tinutupad mo ang iyong pangako sa iyong mga anak. Ang integrity ay hindi yung kapag nangaral ka, mag-iisip yung mga anak mo, parang nag-iba yata pagkatao ng tatay ko nung nangaral na siya. No, parang Dr. Jekyll and Hyde. Di ba yung kapag umaga na ng Sunday, lalo na, siyempre, tayo mga pastor, ayaw nating nalilate sa service, yung mga anak natin, kung hindi naman nakapagtataka naman, no? Kung kailan naman Sunday, saka naman parang, kung kumilos, parang molasses. Tapos sasabihin mo, mga anak, dali na, bilis na, pakibilis na. Pag may outing, ang aga-aga yung nagigising. Kapag may service, ang tanghali na kayo nagigising. Sakay na sa kotse. Tapos habang sasakay sa kotse, pinapagalitan mo na sila. At ako, I'm not a stranger to that because I remember when I was pastoring in Makati, ay nasa Quezon City ako noon. At yung mga anak ko talagang late na kami, nagmamadali na ako. Tapos ang mahirap pa nito, paglabas ko, malambot yung gulong ko. So kailangan kong daling ngayon sa vulcanizing shop. So mainit na ulo ko. Buti na lang hindi ako speaker noong araw na yun. Ang hirap noon. Tapos ikaw ay, nung nagmamadali na ako, then ako nasagi. Kitang-kita ko sa side mirror ko, bumulagta eh. Patay. Patay yung kuko. Kasi medyo nakita ko, duguan yung kuko eh. Sinugot ko na lang sa ospital. So isipin niyo, stress ko na araw, hindi ako natuloy. Pumunta sa church kasi kailangan ko pagamot at tingnan kung okay na siya. Seriously, no? So yung pastor, pinadali yung anak niya sa kotse, tas habang bumabiyahe, galit na galit ka, pinagsasabihan mo. Tas pagdating sa church, a transformation happens. Pagbaba ni pastor na kanila lang sumising-asing na, umuusok na yung ilong sa galit. Paglabas biglang, magandang umaga, brother. Sister, kumusta ka na? Tapos pag nangaral, talaga namang, yung mga anak hindi nila maano Kanina lang galit ito, ngayon parang wala lang no? Tapos pagkatapos ng service, pagsakay uli sa kotse, bakit kanina hindi ka nakikinig? Bakit ang likot mo? Ba't parang nag-text ka ba nangangaral ako? Kaya tuloy hindi na rin katakataka na minsan may mga anak ng pastor na hindi nagpapatuloy sa pananampalatayang kanyang kinagisnan. Integrity calls for that. Kaya di ba pinakamahirap nga daw mas alam ng mga anak ng asawa kung ano talaga ang likaw ng bituka ng isang pastor. Integrity is really a challenging topic. But one thing that gives me hope is that you don't have to be perfect. Although that is not an excuse, that is not a license to sin, but integrity calls you just to be consistent, to build on your character, so that when you face God as your judge, you will not be afraid, but you will rejoice before Him. Sabi nga sa isang commentary, Daniel is one of the few well-known Bible character about whom nothing negative is ever written. And if you would look at the book of Daniel, 3 times he was called greatly beloved. And itong integrity na to, yung pagiging man of integrity ni Daniel, hindi ito, sabi nga, it is like an oak, it is not like a mushroom. It was not built overnight. When he was 16 years old, when Judah was conquered by Babylon, and Nebuchadnezzar chose at yung mga mga royalty para humarap sa kanya at tuturuan nila, i-brainwash nila para pag sila'y pinabalik na para maghari sa Israel, ay utak Babylonia na sila. At pati yung pagkain, bukod sa binago ang pangalan nila, binigyan sila ng pagkain. Well, wala siyang magagawa doon sa pangalan niya, pero doon sa pagkain may magagawa siya. Yun ang mga matututunan niya sa UB, University of Babylon, kaya naman niyang i-filter with the Word of God. Pero itong pagkain is a direct assault dun sa inutos ng Panginoon sa kanila about diet. Diba? May dietary regulations sa Pentateuch. At notice na at a young age, Daniel resolved that he would not defile himself with the king's food or with the wine that he drank. Notice the word resolved. Bata pa lang siya, nandun na yung commitment niya. And I tell you mga kapatid, lalo na sa mga estudyante dito sa Febias, bata pa lang kayo, make a commitment na that you will live a life of integrity. That you will live a life without duplicity. A life that is without hypocrisy. Sabi sa King James, he purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself. Or sabi sa contemporary English version, he made up his mind. At tandaan po ninyo na itong nasa Febias po kayo, pagkakataon po ninyo to make up your mind. Because yung decision na gagawin nyo, habang bata pa kayo, will play an important role hanggang sa pagtanda ninyo sa ministeryo. Sabi nga sa Expositor's Bible Commentary, rather than break faith with God, he was willing to be expelled from the Royal Academy with the disgrace and danger that entailed. This early refusal to disobey God prepared Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego for future greatness as true witnesses for him in this pagan culture. Who we are right now is a product, a consequence of our past decisions. Kaya mahalaga po na ngayon pa lang, hanggang maaga pa, you make a commitment, you make a resolve to obey God. You make a resolve to live a life of character, to live a life of consequence. So living a life of integrity means being committed to live for the Lord. More than just service, living for the Lord. Kasi we have to remember this na higit pa sa pagiging pastor, higit pa sa pagiging missionary, higit pa sa pagiging teacher o professor, ang ating pagkatao. Kung sino tayo bilang mga mananampalataya sa harapan ng Panginoon. And so living a life of integrity means being committed to live for the Lord. Sabi dito, it pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 satraps to be throughout the whole kingdom, and over them 3 high officials, of whom Daniel was one, to whom the satraps should give account, so that the king might suffer no loss. Notice that they will give account to him, so that the king will not suffer loss. He will be the one to hold them accountable. At alam ninyo, if you're the one holding people accountable, of course, the measure you use will be measured back to you. At ang sabi rito, that Daniel, di ba? Sabi rito, Daniel so distinguished himself among the administrators. Noong una, isa lang siya sa mga high officials, pero ang sabi rito, he distinguished himself among the administrators and the satraps by his exceptional qualities that the king planned to set him over the whole kingdom. Mabigat na. Parang ang magiging papel na ni Daniel, katulad sa ating gobyerno, ay executive secretary. The executive secretary is dubbed or labeled as the little president because he can sign papers on behalf of the president. Kita mo doon, for the president, yung signature na yun. Ganun kabigat yung magiging promotion ni Daniel. At ang sabi rito, he distinguished himself by his exceptional qualities. Alam niyo po, when we talk about qualities here, of course, obviously, nandun na yung competence. Nandun na yung competence. But, pag tiningnan niyo po yung listahan ng qualification, halimbawa ng pastor, sa 1 Timothy chapter 3 at sa Titus chapter 1, makikita po natin na most of the qualities, almost all of the qualities are about character. Isa lang yung tungkol sa competence, like sa 1 Timothy 3 ay yung able to teach. Doon naman sa Titus, yung sa verse 9, he must hold fast to the trustworthy word as taught, that he might be able to exhort and rebuke. Yun ang sabi sa Titus 1:9. Pero the rest is about character. At alam niyo, bagamat it also takes time to build your competence. Mas mabigat yung to build your character. In fact, if I may use the word, it is easier to be competent than to be a person of character. Of course, you don't have to choose between the two. We must have both character and competence. But if we have to choose between the two, let it be character. At nawa sa mga ministeryo na ating pangungunahan, we will really distinguish ourselves. Sabi sa Good News Translation, Daniel soon showed that he could do better work than the other supervisors or the governors because he was so outstanding. The king considered putting him in charge of the whole empire. Dati, he was just one of the governors, one of the administrators, but now he will be above them. And he could do better work because he was so outstanding. Sabi naman sa The Message, but Daniel, brimming with spirit and intelligence, so completely outclassed the other vice regents and governors that the king decided to put him in charge of the whole kingdom. Tindi, no? By the way, mabanggit ko lang, no? Daring pinagkaiba itong mga naging kasabayan ni ni Daniel sa mga na-encounter natin ngayon. Parang walang pinagkaiba sa tinatawag na crab mentality ng mga Pilipino, no? Tayo sa ministry minsan, people thought we are water and water seeks its own level. Yung ba kapag pinagbutihan mo, alam ba, sa Febias, nag-aral ka, nagsikap ka, tapos may iba na dahil siguro sa kasipagan mo, nagbumukha silang tamad. So, you might even be bullied in Febias. May mga maririnig ka na, ikaw na matalino. But you don't owe anything to these critics. You owe it to God and of course to your parents and to your church that sent you to really do your best to excel. Hindi ka dapat pumayag na because you are, kumbaga, dahil sa'yo, nagmumukha silang tamad, ikaw na rin magtatamad-tamaran. Hindi naman tayo too big that we'll have to seek our own level. And we're not doing it naman to compete with them. We're doing it for God. And that is part of integrity. And so, don't hold back. Do your best pa rin kasi kasama yan sa integrity. And then so, dahil doon, yung nga, sabi ko, crab mentality, they sought to bring him down. And they sought to make sure na he will never even be considered again for someone to be in charge over the entire empire. Sabi rito sa verse 4, then the high officials and the satraps sought to find the ground for complaint against Daniel with regard to the kingdom, but notice this, but they could find no ground for complaint or any fault because he was faithful and no error or fault was found in him. Ang tindi nung sinit na standard ni Daniel. Now, Daniel is a sinner like you and me. And yet, by the grace of God, no, his faithfulness early in his life was honored by God, and he was faithful, and then this time came, at ito na nga, he's ready for the position, and when people sought to find a chink in his armor, wala silang makita. Di po ba? Paka-challenging naman ito. Ako siguro, kapag nakasama niyo ako, baka may makita pa kayo sa akin eh. Tanungin niyo si Lem. No? Eh, minsan, nagmamaneho ko, nakita ni Lem na uminit ang ulo ko eh. Of course, I've sought to be vulnerable. Nakita naman ako, warts and all, pero there's no justification for that. But you know, that is part of our journey to integrity. That we will not be defensive. That when people criticize us, we will resist the impulse to defend ourselves and to correct the person. Eh, kung nga, ganito ka rin eh. Hindi ganon. Kundi, you really listen and be willing to be corrected, because faithful are the wounds of a friend than the kisses of an enemy. And this family has been very supportive even with those things. Even if they saw me in my most vulnerable moment. Kasama yun sa journey. Hindi tayo defensive. Hindi yung may nakita na nga mali sa'yo, gaganti ka pa by proving na yung kabila may mali din. It is not only a fallacy in logic, it is also a fallacy in life. It is a fallacy na ganun yung ginagawa mo. Na imbis na makinig ka, baka may butil lang katotohanan yung puna sa'yo, eh, you will defend yourself by pointing out yung mali din sa iba. But Daniel, they could not find anything against him. No? They sought to find the ground for complaint against him, but they could find no ground for complaint or any fault. Sabi dito, Daniel was faithful. The message, he was totally exemplary and trustworthy. Or, sa Good News Bible, he was someone reliable. Are we exemplary? Are we trustworthy? Are we reliable when we say that we will do something, we will really do it? When we say na when we promise something, sisikapin natin na magawa natin. Yan yung nagbibuild ng trust. Mga kapatid, tandaan nyo to. Hindi mo pwedeng pangalandakan, graduate ka ng Febias para igalang ka ng church mo. Hindi mo pwedeng pangalandakan na binigyan ka ng title na pastor. Oh, ako ang pastor, ako ang lead pastor, igalang nyo ko. You cannot demand respect. You can only earn it. And you cannot even hold it back against them if they don't respect you, kasi ultimately, nasa you naman if you would earn respect. Are we faithful? Di po ba? At ang sabi, no error or fault was found in him. He was neither corrupt nor negligent. Tindi. Isipin nyo, he was not corrupt. Wala siyang nagawang sin of commission. Ano yung sin of commission? Doing what he is not supposed to do. At ang sabi, he was neither corrupt nor negligent. Yung sin of omission, not doing what he is supposed to do. So, si Daniel, ginawa niya yung dapat niyang gawin at hindi niya ginawa yung hindi niya dapat gawin. Ganun katindi ang integrity ni Daniel. Oh, he was neither corrupt nor negligent. Sa atin kaya, alam nyo, value people who will really talk straight to you. Value people who will not try to impress you. Value people who will actually tell you things as it is. Ganun ang mga malapit kong kaibigan sa akin. And they can even see through my pretense, through my masks. They can read between the words. When I say I'm okay, they know that I am not okay. Eh yung mga mentor ko eh. Isasabi pa niya, how are you really? These are the people that you cannot pretend. These are the people who will not be impressed. These are the people who are willing to listen as you express kung ano man yung nararamdaman mo sa puso mo. Kasi nga, sabi nga, character is what you are in the dark. Yung wala nang nakakakita sa iyo maliban sa Diyos. Alam mo na nga nakikita ka ng Diyos pero akala mo hindi ka nakikita. Kahit sa ano integrity is valued in the marketplace. Hindi lang sa ministry. Sabi nga sa isang research, what qualities in employees irritate bosses the most that could cause them to lose their job? They asked executives in 100 of 1,000 largest companies in the US of A. Ito yung mga sinabi. 7, laziness, lack of commitment and dedication. Because if you don't care about the firm, they won't care about you. Whining and complaining. Puro ka na lang reklamo. Ano, sa experience ko sa marketplace, nung hindi pa ako pastor, walang magagawa yung palusot mo eh. Simple lang itatanong ng boss mo sa iyo eh. Don't give me problems. Give me solutions. Ano solution? Don't tell me what you can't do. Tell me what you can do. Ganun ang demand. Ito pa, not following company policy. Failure to follow the rules makes management feel an employee can't be trusted. I know there are times that you feel burdened. Nung orientation, nalaman nyo yung mga rules sa Febias. Salamat ka kayo, pwede nang manood ng sine. Di ba? Minsan feeling mo, parang sobrang may stricto. Well, una, pinasok nyo naman, alam nyo naman yan, bago kayo pumasok sa Febias. Ang ano dyan is, itong mga rules na to, training to kapag ano eh, kapag ikaw nandun na, out there. Halimbawa, alam ko kung naka-dorm na, God willing, sa susunod na January, sana, sa biyaya ng Diyos, face-to-face na, naka-dorm na kayo. Di po ba? May oras kayo may time of study. Di ba? May time sa library. Tapos, yun na, yung free time na. Tapos may lights off na. Di ba? Pag nasa ministry ka, mas challenging eh. Kasi example, bilang pastor, wala naman akong time card eh. Kusang palo na lang kung ano man yung habit na na-develop ko na sa pag-aaral. Yun na yung magke-carry over sa pagtatrabaho ko rito bilang pastor eh. Wala nang dorm parent na sisita sa akin kapag tutulog-tulog ako eh. Wala na eh. Di ba? So doon na mas matindi ang integrity, doon na makikita ngayon kung kaya mo pa rin ituloy yung mga habits na na-develop mo. At saka yung mga absenteeism and lateness. Ito pa, arrogance, ego problems, excessive aggressiveness. Alam mo, ayaw ng mga boss, yung mga tao walang ginawa kundi pag-usapan ng mga empleyado na walang ginawa kundi to talk about their achievement kaysa yung magtrabaho. And of course, responsibility, goofing off, doing personal business on company time. Kapag nagka-chapel, yung cellphone nakabukas dahil nagpe-Facebook, mga ganon. And what's on top of the list? Dishonesty. Dishonesty. Still, even the marketplace values integrity, lalo na sa ministry. Alam ninyo, sabi nga nila, a doctor, although may kaso rin sa PMA na pwede kang tanggalan ng lisensya bilang doktor kapag ikaw ay immoral. Like what happened to one famous doctor. Diba? Pero basically, a doctor can be immoral and yet be still the best surgeon in town. An attorney can be corrupt, but still he could be the best trial lawyer. But we cannot say the same sa mga lingkod ng Diyos. Kahit gaano ka kagaling mangaral, kahit gaano ka kagaling mamuna, kapag na-compromise ang integrity mo, your leadership will be put into question na. Biyaya na lang ng Diyos kung ma-regain mo pa. Sabi nga, if a company believes that an employee lacks integrity, all positive qualities ranging from skill and experience to productivity and intelligence become meaningless. Na kapag hindi mo maintain yung integrity mo, your diploma sa Febias will be just a piece of paper. Baliwala lahat ng yan. Iba pa rin talaga integrity. Sabi nga, in great matters, men show themselves as they wish to be seen. Pero minsan nakikita ang ating integrity in small matters as they are. Kumusta private life natin, mga kapatid? Kumusta ang ating thought life? What are we feeding ourselves? Yung mga maliliit na bagay lang na ito hindi ko sisabing yung aking isa sa mentor ko, si Pastor Philip Flores. Isa sa diniscuss niya namin noon ay yung pag-ihi kung saan-saan. Napakaliit na bagay yung sa tingin ng iba. Pero para sa kanya, hindi maganda na kung saan-saan ka iihi. Napakababaw na kung tingin yung iba, no? Pero malaking bagay yun. Natuto ko to, kaya kahit na hirap na ako, hanap na lang ako ng gasolinan eh. Kasi yung isa sa sinabi, yung mga maliliit na bagay na yan, malaking bagay yan pagdating sa integrity natin. So, as you have seen, living a life of integrity means being committed to live for the Lord, and living a life of integrity means being consistent in all aspects of our lives. Yun talagang pagdating sa oras, pagdating sa pakikitungo mo sa iba. Alam nyo, like for example, dahil mabigat din naman ang challenge talaga ng immorality sa ministry. Isa doon yung simple na kung ikaw ay magsasakay, kailang ng babae, kailangan may kasama kang iba. Bihira lang, napakabihira na kung wala na talagang choice na magsakay ako ng babae sa kotse ng hiwalay na wala ibang kasama, pero nakaupo sa likod ko. Hindi nakaupo sa harapan. Usapan na lang mag-asawa yun eh. At kung meron talagang pagkakataon na wala na ibang choice, I have to really exercise discernment on that. Para matiyak na, kasi wala kang control na eh kapag napag-usapan na eh, nakita na eh. No, kumusta yung mga nilalike mo, yung mga sinishare mo sa Facebook? Doon makikita rin yung ating integrity doon. It means being consistent in all aspect of our lives. At walang makita sa kanya, no? At sabi nga, ito matindi, no? Kung meron man silang makitang kay Daniel, ay yung pagiging malapit niya sa Diyos. Then this man said, we shall not find any ground for complaint against this Daniel unless we find it in connection with the law of his God. So they finally gave up. Sabi sa isang version, we're never going to find anything against this Daniel unless we can scheme up something religious. Kaya the way to trap Daniel, ginawa nila, kinausap si King Darius at sinabi nila na maglabas siya ng law na walang ibang magdadasal sa kanino man for 30 days except to you, O King. At kapag hindi niya ginawa yung, kapag sinuway niya yun, he shall be cast into the den of lions. At pinapirma, knowing na ang batas ng mga Medes and Persians hindi mababali. And syempre, it feeds the ego of the king. And so he signed the document, that injunction. Now, sabi nga sa commentary, the suggested mode of compelling every subject in the former Babylonian domain to acknowledge the authority of Persia seemed a statesman's-like measure that would contribute to the unification of the kingdom. It was actually a political move. Parang it's like the king, Darius, telling the people, who's the boss? I'm the boss. So you don't pray to anyone, even to a God, except to me. At si Daniel, 30 days lang naman. Some of us would just weather it through. Si Daniel, sabi, when Daniel knew that the document had been signed, he went to his house where he had windows in his upper chamber open toward Jerusalem. He got down on his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God as he had done previously. Some of us, Daniel, napakasimple naman, sara mo yung bintana, walang makakakita sa iyo. Pero para kay Daniel, that's being inconsistent. And so he continued with what he was doing. He was praying 3 times a day. He would give thanks to God and his windows were open as he had done previously. Alam mo yung malaking bagay sa ating mga pastor, kung magiging pastor na rin po kayo, if you would be in my office, you would see na may 2 bintana rito. At kapag may pumasok na babae rito, even my secretary, they know what to do. They would keep the door open, or they will open the shades, the blinds. Alam ba ninyo, na bagamat I was not required by the board to do it, I'm not saying this because ako pakatulad ni Daniel, marami pa ako mga kailangan ayusin sa sarili ko rin. Kasi hindi ko may turn yung camera, malayo sa akin eh. But actually, even in my room, merong CCTV camera. Nung nagkabit ng CCTV, wala naman sa planong kabitan yung kwarto ko eh. Pero sabi ko, lagyan nyo na rin. So para ako nasa bahay ni Kuya. Wala lang nagsasabing, Eric, kailangan natin mag-usap. Wala lang ganun. Pero, di ba? It's for their protection and for my protection also. Of course, maaaring kung siguro, train ka naman sa counseling, pwede ka mag-counsel ng somebody na opposite ang gender. Pero it doesn't hurt kung you would rather refer, halimbawa, a woman wants counseling, you would refer that person to to a woman, hindi na ikaw magpapayo. Lalo na kapag ay papaka-counsel sa'yo ay tungkol sa love life. Ayan, ako, mahirap na yan. No? Huwag naman kakaisip, kahit yung mga babae, huwag niyo isipin, panlalaki lang ito. No? Baka yung nagpapa-counsel sa'yo, gusto lang magpa-impress sa'yo na uy, ako am somebody you can trust. Sabi nga nila character is simply long habit continued. It pays to do those things. It pays to do those little things that matter. And so living a life of integrity means being committed to live for the Lord, being consistent in all aspects of our lives, and being confident to face the consequences of your actions. Hindi dahil ginawa mo ang tama, things will be in your favor. Kahit ginawa mo na ang tama, pwede ka pa rin siraan. Kahit ginawa mo na ang tama, pwede pa rin ang reputasyon mo ay masira. Kasi people can really do nasty things against you. Hindi mo din gagawin ito dahil sa tingin mo ay magiging magandang outcome. Kasi tandaan ninyo, kahit si Daniel, he was thrown in the den of lions and biyaya na lang ng Diyos na hindi siya nilamon. Pero even if nilamon siya, I don't think that he will change his stance. Even his friends. Si Shadrach, Meshach at Abednego, nung sila'y sinabi na kung hindi kayo luluhod sa Diyos-Diyosa na aking ginawa, ibabato ko kayo sa pugon. At ang sagot ni Shadrach, Meshach at Abednego sa hari, if this be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace and He will deliver us out of your hand, O King. Kung kami tatapon mo dyan, kaya kami iligtas ng Diyos. But if not, o sa ibang version, even if, be it known to you, O King, that we will not serve your gods or worship the golden image that we have set up. Even if things will not turn out the way you wanted it to be. Even if, like Joseph, you maintained your integrity by running away from the temptress and still be framed up and be thrown in jail. Even if We have to be committed. We have to be consistent. And we have to be courageous enough to face the consequences of our stance for integrity. Alam nyo, yung mga crisis moments natin, doon makikita ang pagkatao natin. Sabi nga nila, character is not made in crisis, it is only exhibited. At kay Daniel, nakita sa crisis ng kanyang faith, ang kanyang pagiging religious, ang kanyang pagiging faithful ay hindi paimbabaw lang. Kundi nakita na even if ikamamatay niya, susunod pa rin siya sa Diyos. So living a life of integrity means being committed to live for the Lord, being consistent in all aspects of your life, and being confident to face the consequences of your actions. At yan po yung integrity na kailangan natin pagsumakipang ma-develop sa atin. Of course, let me end with this. You cannot do it on your own. Si Daniel, although in Daniel 6, he was alone. Wala na tayong nabasa tungkol kay Shadrach, Meshach, at Abednego by this time. Pero during his teenage years, he was with them. If there's one application point that I want you to have today, is to find someone with whom you can be open, with whom you can be accountable. Someone na hindi ka kukonsintihin, someone who will tell it to you straight. When you find that person, treasure that person. Sapagat yan yung mga taong talagang may malasakit sa iyo. Mga tao na gusto talagang mabuhay tayo sa integrity. Tayo po'y manalangin. Panginoon, marami pong salamat for the privilege to talk about this very humbling topic, Lord. Na lahat kami susuriin dito. And may we be found faithful before you. May we be more concerned about our character than our reputation. Salamat, Panginoon, because you are not looking for golden vessels, but you are looking first and foremost for a clean vessel. At kung meron po kami, Panginoon, na mga ginawa na if it will be brought out, you'll be so embarrassed. I ask for forgiveness, and I pray that each one will find someone that they could be accountable to. Someone who will guide them so that they would be able to stand up and continue walking in you. I commit to you especially these future ministers, missionaries, teachers. I pray that you continue to mold them to be the man and the woman of God after your own heart. I thank you for this privilege. In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen.
Thank you.
Be strong in the Lord and be of good courage. Your defender is He who is always the same. Mount up with wings as the eagle ascending. Victory is sure when you call on His name. Be strong, be strong, be strong in the Lord, and be of good courage, for He is your guide. Be strong, be strong, be strong in the Lord, and rejoice, for the victory is yours. the foe. Fear not the battle, for the victory is ours. He will protect you wherever you go. Be strong, be strong, be strong in the Lord, and be of good courage, for He is your guide. Be strong, be strong, be strong in the Lord, and rejoice, for the victory is yours. Be strong, be strong, be strong in the Lord, and rejoice, for the victory is yours. Yes, Lord.